Flosstube. Welcome to my channel, Stitching in South Jersey. My name is Debbie, and today is Tuesday, February 4th, 2025. And this is Flosstube number 5, and it is my January stitching update. So if you see me looking down, as always, I have notes in the essence of timeliness. So our agenda for today, I worked on 9 whips in January. No other special, let me quickly stitch this thing, but I'm going to talk about something at the end. I have a lot of past finishes to show you now that my house is undecorated for Christmas and my everyday decor is back. And I am going to show you something never before seen on my Flosstube channel, even during the whip parade. It is my super secret project for Joey Fuhgetaboutit. For those of you that are new, Joey Fuhgetaboutit is my husband, who thinks he was born in South Philly and is 100% Italian. Neither of those things happen to be true. You will never meet him. I will never let him on camera with me. He may have to start his own Flosstube. But I've been working on this project for him for several years. I hope to get it done while we're both still alive. Not sure. But I thought this would be a good time to show it. And he has been away on a business trip for one trip last week, one trip this week. So when he is not here, or I go to a cross-stitch meetup group, I work on his project because I can't work on it on a normal day, because where I sit and stitch, he'd be able to see the chart and the project in my lap stand. So I'm going to show it today, and I already told him he can't watch this, but I will give a warning, and I'm going to show it as my 9th whip. I have no new starts, not a surprise. I have no new finishes, bigger, not a surprise, or less big of a not a surprise. And I would like to thank all of you who watched my last Flosstube, which was my December update, as well as my whip parades. I cannot thank you enough for those of you that have liked, subscribed, commented, answered my questions, whatever it was. I really appreciate you taking your time to listen to me rattle on. On my agenda, it says apologies, because every now and then, you know, Flosstubers like to make apologies. I have no apologies this time, but I would like to thank the several viewers who explained to me why I got several comments about, I can't wait for you to say sweater weather. Didn't understand it. Still don't really understand it. But I do know why. So I'm going to tell you in case you don't know. And thank you to those who enlightened me. There is a skit on SNL with Amy Poehler and Maya Rudolph, where they are these New Yorker girls, you know, and they're chomping on their gum and doing all the things. And they say the 2 words sweater weather with a classic New York accent. So, one more time for those of you in the back. New Jersey is not just a suburb of New York City. It is, in fact, also its own whole state, and is also a suburb of Philadelphia. Stitching in South Jersey means South Jersey, south of the middle of the state, very close to Philadelphia, right across the Delaware River. So we, with our Philly accent, do not ever say sweater weather the way New Yorkers say it. So that's what that's about. But I can get out a map. I mean, I kind of felt like the title's a little self-explanatory, but I know New Jersey's a small state, and lots of people think that anybody that lives in New Jersey speaks like a New Yorker. not actually true. So for all the comments that I got saying, I can't wait till she says sweater weather, I got an equal number of comments from my local peeps who said, why do they think that we would say it like that? We don't. Like, it's frustrating. Anyway, moving on. So thank you for those of you who cleared it up. And I have no problem explaining New Jersey's geography whenever it becomes necessary. So, first thing we're going to do, I think we're going to do past finishes first. That's easier, and they are precariously perched on a chair next to me, and I don't mind if the whips fall over, but it would be a bad, bad day if these past finishes fell over. So let's start with those. And there are a lot of them, and they are in no particular order other than the way that I took them off the walls as I went running through the house. Thinking I could pull this together in like 5 minutes and get it quickly recorded. Ha ha ha. Every floss tuber knows that it takes a lot of work to get it together before you even turn the camera on. Okay, we're at 6 minutes, 17 seconds. Let's go. My first finish, which I framed myself, came off of a calendar. And it is called Take Life with a Grain of Salt. Isn't that cute? And I just put a mat board behind it and framed it. Take life with a grain of salt and a wedge of lime. I'm seeing this backwards. I surely hope you're seeing it forwards. That's very cute. Took no time to stitch. I don't know when I stitched it. Oh, yes, I do. Hold it. I have a card on this one. I started it in 2018, and I finished it in 2019. Okay, well, that was helpful. Okay. Next one, if you know me and you've heard me talk about Marty Bell, back in the day, if you wanted to do something complicated and it wasn't dimensions, it was very often a Marty Bell. This one, trying to get myself out of the frame, is called Little Mommy. And I did make this for my daughter. I'm sorry for the glare. There's just so many windows in this kitchen. It's called Little Mommy, and I made it for my daughter. And I actually have a date on this. It is a Marty Bell, and it was completed May of 2003. That would have made her 6 years old. Her hair is not blonde, but at that point, I didn't know that we could not do it exactly like it is in the pattern. So if I had to do it again, I would have made her hair my daughter's color, which is a light brown. Next, Country Cottage Needleworks. This is my February with the magnets on the back. See, this back I'm not so ashamed of. Every now and then I actually, while it is not beautiful, and Vanna Pfeiffer and a lot of you finishers out there have nothing to worry about, that one's not horrible. So this hangs in my office, and every month I change it. So you'll see one of those a month. This one that is now falling out of the frame, sorry about that. This one is Little House Needleworks, Coming to America. It's on 16 Count Legacy by Picture This Plus. There are 5 classic colorworks in here. I started it November 19th, 2019, and I completed it February 13th, 2022. And for the record, I just popped it in a frame so that I could get it out of the way, and I cannot despise the finish more. So I will be taking this out and figuring out what I'm going to do with it, but I just cannot even stand this. Like, it should be in a rectangle, at least more of a rectangle, but the pattern like literally starts here and ends here, so it is cut off just like that. I didn't cut it off to put it in the frame. So I don't know what to do about this. Nothing right now. I It'll go back on the wall in my office where no one but me can see it. But I love the stitching and I love the pattern. Okay, shocked I had information on that. Okay, another Marty Bell. This one is Marty Bell's Mendocino Twilight. I love this one. I actually finished this. I had it framed September of 2021. I stitched this probably 10 years earlier, maybe more. And it sat folded up in a cabinet until I decided to do something with it. And what I was going to do with it was give it to my mother. The mauve color, even though it goes perfectly, was more her aesthetic than mine. But I realized something very quickly, that I would appreciate this much, much more than she ever would. So she just had absolutely no crafting interest and could not have cared less about anybody crafting anything. So she just did not, that was just not her. So I'm a little jealous of all you people out there that say, I stitch with my mom, I stitch with my daughter, I have neither of those things. My daughter is crafty, but cross stitch is not her jam. Okay, next is, this is the West Point crest. My daughter, as I've told you many times, she is a captain in the Army, active duty. She is a graduate of the United States Military Academy, which is West Point. This is their crest for her year, which was 2020. And their motto was, with vision we lead. Get it? With vision we lead, 2020. So the, and I cannot remember, I did not keep track of who made this. It's a historical cross stitch. They do a lot of that kind of stuff. If I can remember it, I'll put it down below. So every graduating class gets their own, they vote on a motto, whatever, and then they design this crest, and this was hers. What it should have said was, with vision we lead, except COVID's going to hit and our mommies and daddies are not going to be able to come to our very unique graduation because nobody was allowed on post for that. Although they did have a graduation, I believe the Air Force Academy graduated virtually and the Naval Academy may have had a real graduation, but early. But Donald Trump, who was the president at the time, and is again, opened his big mouth, as he is wont to do, and said, I'm going to give the commencement address at West Point for the 2020 graduates. And I think the superintendent of the school was like, wait, what? Now we have to actually have a graduation. So they brought back only the graduating seniors, and Donald Trump did indeed give the commencement address, and it was televised. We were able to watch it, which is not even close to the same as being there. Unfortunately, my husband, Joey Fuhgetaboutit, still cries over that. But at least she got a graduation, and that was really all that mattered. They did commission them virtually. There's generally a commissioning ceremony after the graduation, but that was not happening. They graduated, and I think she was literally home 2.5 hours later, and it's a 2-hour drive. So anyway, this is their crest, and every graduating class gets their own motto and their own crest, and this happened to be hers, class of 2020. So that one I started April 2019 and finished it January 5th, 2020. Okay, on to some bigger ones. This one is a Dimensions, and I believe it's called Lovely Victorian House. I think that's what it's called. And this is an oldie. This has been hanging in my dining room hallway. You could see the top of the frame is chipped a little. It's had a spill or two over the years. I love it. This is, I believe this is a Dimensions Gold. And I kind of think that Cove Haven Inn is sort of a companion piece to this. Had it framed by Michaels or whoever. Love the oval frame. They did a beautiful job. And you can hate the back stitching all you want on Dimensions kits, and I do wholeheartedly hate it, but boy, does it add something to it. All right. And then, one more, two more. This I made for my father. And I would love to tell you who designed this, but I have absolutely no idea. I do know, let me see. I finished this, oh, designer, Brittany Inspirations. What do you know about that? And I completed this on October 17th, 2002. And I believe I gave it to him, maybe his birthday. I don't know. My father was a Marine, obviously, for those that don't know, but this is so iconic, I'm sure everyone does. This is the raising of the flag at Iwo Jima after they managed to take the hill, the mountain, the hill. And it was an iconic photograph. They had a photographer embedded with them, and he took this photograph. And I believe 4 of the 6 soldiers, Marines depicted in this were killed, and were killed relatively soon after this was taken. So my father was a Marine. Off on a little bit of a tangent for a minute, but I feel like we deserve our vet. We deserve to let our vets have that, so I'm going to tell you. He tried to get in to the Marines. He went to the recruiting office in 1945, early in 1945. His mother and his sister got wind of that and called the recruiter and said, he's a junior in high school. So by the time he got there, they turned him around, sent him home, said, come back when you graduate high school. When you turn 18, graduate high school, come back. Of course, that was 1946, and by then, World War II was over. He did enlist, and he served for 4 years. He got out in June of 1950, 3 months before he would have been involved in the Korean War. He tried to get back in. My mother was pregnant at the time with my brother. And once again, the snitches, his sister and his mother, called the recruiting office and said, he is the sole support of his young wife, and she is pregnant. And at the time, they said, we don't need you. We'll let you know if we need you. And they didn't. And I really believe that was probably one of the biggest disappointments of his life. He very much wanted to do his part. Although he did serve for 4 years, he just did not serve during a time of war. He served in between World War II and the Korean War. So I made this for him. And until the day he died, this hung in his living room. I would not really call it living room decor, but it was right where he could see it. It was right over the television, so he could look at it. And then first I think it was off to the side, and then I think he moved it in front of the television. I can't really remember. I mean, behind the television. But there was a mistake. I remember I had to reach out to the designer, and there was a mistake somewhere in here. So much green, so much green. It was during a page break or something, and I'm like, this is not working. And sure enough, she went back and she checked, and she said, you're 100% correct, and sent me a revised project pattern. And it says, in honor and memory of the men of the United States Marine Corps who have given their lives to their country since 10 November 1775. And I would have forgotten that I even had that. And Joey Fuhgetaboutit said, don't forget your Iwo Jima cross stitch. So shout out again to Joey Fuhgetaboutit. And then last but not least, I feel like you could still get this home in almost any craft store. I believe it is a Dimensions. I do not believe it is a Dimensions Gold. A time for all seasons, or to everything there is a season, something about seasons. I don't know if it's exactly what it says here. Again, can't overstate the back stitch on this. Without it, just be 4 different colored blobs. And this hangs right in my dining room, actually. And it's up most of the year. And the good news is I didn't have to take down anything with command strips, which means I don't have to put up anything with command strips. Okay, moving on to whips. 20 minutes in, we're doing good. Okay, these are, with the exception of my super secret project for Joey Fuhgetaboutit, which I'll do as the 9th whip. These are in the order that I stitched them in January. And if, I will leave them in the hoop if there's nothing else to see, or the Q-snap. I will take them out if there is something to see. Mini Colorful Christmas Bells by Artisy. This was a freebie on her website a few years back. I don't remember. Not that long ago. Let me see. Probably 2023 or the end of 2022. And it is stitched on, yes, that's right. It is stitched on 18 count, picture this plus, Legacy with all of the called for DMC. I started it February 2nd, 2023. And I gave it 5 total days in 2024. This is a lot of green, and it's a lot of confetti. Like, that is not 2 colors of green or 3. It's probably 8 or 9. And I believe I'm still on page 1. But it's fun. It's fun. It's a fun stitch. Okay, number 2, Dimensions Gold Collection. Cozy Cove. I love this. Anything Charles Wysocki just shrieks at me. One of my unicorn charts is Birch Point, I think it's called, or Birch Post. Same thing, Charles Wysocki, Dimensions Gold. I saw Pam from Just Keep Stitching, Pam and Steph. I saw her finish several years ago, and it was breathtaking. I don't know why some of them are so hard to get, and yet this one you can find anywhere. I'm not really sure. So I started this on June 17th, 2020. It is a kit, so everything is kit. I gave this 8 days in 2024. Do not yell about the masking tape. I hear you. I get it. I won't do it again. I can't see what you're saying. There we go. So that is the end, left to right. That is it. And I believe I'm almost at a page finish. No, probably not. No, I think it's 1, 2, 3 across. This was fun. I could have stayed working on this one. And this is without, look at that tree. That's without the back stitch. Imagine, just use your imagination. What is that going to look like with some back stitch, huh? Which will take probably more years than I have left. Number 3, Wine, Grapes, and Cheese by Cross Stitch Heirlooms. I'm getting nowhere fast on this one. That's cool though, right? It would go really good in my kitchen, but I'm actually making it as a gift for someone who may or may not even still want it. And this is where I am. I am on page 2. So this is one of the ones with a story. It's stitched on, let me give you the stats first. 18 count vintage country mocha. I started this July 14th, 2020. I have 3,630 stitches of 88,900 or 4.08%. The page breaks on the paper chart are different than the page breaks on Pattern Keeper. I'm kind of new to Pattern Keeper. I don't know if that's common or not. I mean, obviously I had started this before I had Pattern Keeper. And luckily I figured it out before I did something horribly wrong, catastrophic to the project, and needed to throw it away. But you could see, I thought this was the end of page 1. It is not if I'm using Pattern Keeper. This is the end of page 1 using Pattern Keeper. So I managed to get all this like shaded in on Pattern Keeper. So now I'm good. So now I know, stick with Pattern Keeper and you don't have to worry about page breaks. I just don't know why that happened. I mean, I get it if it's off by like 3 stitches. You could call it a shading problem. I don't know. I really don't. But now that I'm on track, I'm good. But still makes me nervous because I wonder how many other things have happened on Pattern Keeper that I'm not paying attention to. Okay, next, Cooler Classic Charts, Seashell Wreath. I feel like this. I feel like I work on this a lot. Oh, I didn't tell you. Wine, Grapes, and Cheese, 6 days in 2024. Maybe I did tell you. Seashell Wreath, Cooler Design Studios. I started this May 19th, 2024, and it got 7 days total. I got it as a Christmas gift last year, Christmas 2023. This is fun. This one's fun. Anything by Cooler Designs is fun. It is stitched on 18 count earthen, which is not the called for fabric, but I liked it. And I am not using all of the called for DMC. I'm changing the stuff in here. Maybe it's easier to do it this way. There's a lot of baby blue in this. A lot of baby blue. So these things, which are the letters, I don't know if you can see those. I changed to more of a blue, green, gray kind of color because it goes better with my dining room colors, which is probably where it will hang. And I will make changes as necessary to alleviate some of that baby blue. But I really like it on the earthen. I mean, is this coming up true? It's a little blown out. This is more pink. This is more pink. It's coming up very beigey. It's a pinky beige, I would call it. Okay, and that, I told you I started March 19th. 7 total days, 2024. Don't know if I said that. Cove Haven Inn by Dimensions Gold. See what I'm saying about the finish I showed you, the lovely Victorian house? Do you not agree that this is a companion piece, although this would not be done in an oval? But I feel like this is the other side of that same house that I showed in the finish. I have no idea when I started this, and I don't know why I don't know, because I thought I was doing pretty good with the index cards. This only got 4 days in 2024, and I don't know what that's about. That doesn't make me happy because I like it and I'm making progress. Again, forgive the masking tape. See, I am making apologies. So this is as far over as it goes. See, we're starting to get somewhere, right? This may need to soak in water for a very long time to get these hoop marks out ultimately. But there's much more fabric. For a minute I panicked looking at that in camera. I was like, oh my God, I'm not gonna have enough. There, that's better, it goes all the way to there. But whew, this fabric is crunchy and I may never get rid of the hoop marks. So it's very happy to be out of the hoop and breathing. And I don't know why it only got 4 days. I'm going to say that that was part of the operator error on my tiny decisions wheel, because some things, very strangely, like this, for instance, Mill Hill, the Buttons and Beads, it's their Christmas village, and I think this is the tree farm. I do have the needleworker shop and the bookseller finished. And I really like Mill Hill. I am just having a heck of a time with this one. So it's done on the perforated paper. This got 1 day, one, in 2024. It's very, very sad, but that's what it got. And if you look at it, there's not much. I mean, I have the trees, but I'm getting there. I just need to try and make that a focus for Christmas. And that goes into my plans if I remember to tell you about it at the end. Okay, next is Autumn Town, Autumn Lane Stitchery. As you know, cannot express my love for Aaron and Cassandra enough. I started this October 21st, 2022, and it got 9 days in 2024. And I will tell you this, the oranges that are in here, I did not love. I felt like they were a little cartoony, pumpkin-y orange, and I will change those as I go. Now we can have a chat about the fabric that it's on, because I hate it. No, I don't hate the fabric. So here it is. Wow, that looks good on camera. But as you can see, oh, I think I used a DMC variegated for in there and there. But I will probably still continue to look for other oranges. I mean, even the yellows are a little bright for my taste, but the yellows are variegated, and it is it's either a Weeks Dye Works variegated, or a Gloriana. I don't think it's a Gloriana. That's a Gloriana. That is fabulous right there. I bought it for that color. This is on an 18 count Devosa by Zweigart in antique green. I think it would have gotten more than 9 days this year if it wasn't on this Devosa. And for those of you that have never heard of Devosa, because I have never heard one Flosstuber mention it, never, ever, ever, ever. Needleworker's Delight, when they used to be up in North Jersey, Metuchen, they sold a lot of Devosa, and they had gorgeous colors. I have a couple of pieces in sort of like the orange, like the burnt orange color, gorgeous. And it was described as very, very similar to Ada. Yes, if you stitch on it very delicately, because it doesn't have the fibers making the X. The fibers only go one way. So what happens is you stitch and it pulls to the other side. So all of a sudden you went from bottom left to bottom right, which is not what you want, back to bottom left again. So it's a little bit of fighting with the thread and needle in the fabric, or being extraordinarily careful and delicate, which is really not the name of my game, but it looks good. And this color is blown out a little. It's a little greenier than this. I would have used the called for that was in the pattern. I could not get it. I think it was like green apple, or I don't even know what it was. I couldn't get it, so it didn't matter. Next, again, one of my faves, The Haunted Library by Lola Crow. What is there about that not to like? I don't even like Halloween. I don't like anything about it. Didn't like it as a kid. Don't like it now. but boy, is this fun to stitch. So I am stitching this on 18 count vintage country mocha because everything looks good on vintage country mocha with the called for colors. I started this just on October 9th of 2024, and it got 7 days this year already. And I just finished working on this at the end of January. Look at that clown. He is too much. I could have stayed working on this. And honestly, I kind of feel like now that I'm doing Flosstube, I kind of feel that I need content. I need whips. So even if I want to keep working on something, I stop because I need to move on to the next thing to have enough to show, which is why I only do monthly. But this is fun. I could have kept working on this. Absolutely not a problem. Okay. I'm gonna pick that up later. Okay. And now the Joey Fuhgetaboutit super secret project that pretty much everybody but Joey Fuhgetaboutit knows about. My group that I meet up with every month. They're mostly knitters and crocheters, and I was originally the only cross stitcher. But they're very welcoming. You don't, I mean, one time somebody was there beading jewelry. And now there are more cross stitchers, young too. Love that. I love that. But they all know about it because they see it. So turn away, Joey, forget about it. This is 99 by Ink Circles. And of course, there's a story. Joey Fuhgetaboutit is the head of the marketing department for a wholesale beer distributor. So what could be more perfect for someone who has spent his whole career, adult life just about, in the beer business than 99 bottles of beer on the wall, right? Right. Okay. Way easier said than done. But we are making progress. And I'm going to need to stand back. Here we are. Oh, so don't know when I started it. Let's go with 2019. I think I started in 2019. It is on 16 count. I think the called for is ale. And I am pretty sure, it doesn't say, let me see. Yes, it's ale by Picture This Plus. This is not ale. And for the life of me, I can't think of what it is. And I lost my little index card. And I did not keep track of its days. It's the only project that I don't keep track of, but I am going to for 2025, mainly because I can only work on it when he's not around, and sometimes I'm in the middle of something and don't want to stop. But look at that. If you count them up, my friends, we have 69 bottles of beer on the wall. Well, 3 of them are free floating, but almost there. Boy, that'd make a great screenshot that I cannot use. So 30 bottles to go. So the way the chart went was top 3 shelves, middle 3 shelves, bottom 3 shelves, and the shelves were divided. There are 11 bottles on every shelf. So one page had 6, one page had 5. And I am on the bottom set of shelves on the far left. So this gets no back stitching. And originally, I was going to back stitch all of those bottles. And I was also going to try and make like their labels more obvious. But I feel like when you stand back, not maybe this far, but maybe this far, you can kind of see what they are. I certainly recognize a bunch of them. And Ink Circles very nicely put the 99 bottles, exactly what they are, who the brand is and what the name of the beer is, in like a list, and it's included in this pattern. And when you frame it, you can put it on the back so that you will always know what every single one of those 99 bottles is. This looks like, picture this plus, could be Legacy. And I did buy ale for it. I felt like it was a little too dark for what I wanted. And I used ale to do Hello from Liz Matthew Quaker Pumpkins, which I'm glad I did that. That was perfect. So that's the Joey Fuhgetaboutit super secret project. I don't even think, other than my meetup group, my cross-stitch group, I don't think anyone but me has seen it out of the Q-snap, and even I haven't seen it out of the Q-snap all that often. So he's still gone for 2 more days, so I may get 2 more days on it. In fact, hold on, one more word about this, one more sentence. Those 3 bottles on the bottom, I did in 1 day. They don't take that long. This is not the best project to bring to a meetup, you know, to a group to stitch, because of all the talking and, you know, we generally like block stitching. That's the idea. That is not block stitching. But anyway, so that's the secret project that I did not show during my whip parade because I was afraid he might actually watch the whip parade once I told him that I started a Flosstube. So that's everything. 9 projects for the month of January. One other thing I didn't do that I think I'm going to start doing. I spin the Tiny Decisions wheel, and I'm trying to average 8 projects a month, let's say, maybe 9. What I realized is I probably have about 40, give or take. So in 5 months, I should be able to reset the wheel. I never keep track of when I reset the wheel. So when I pulled a project, my first project for February, I was like, no, something's wrong. I think the wheel's malfunctioning again. I know that I just worked on this. Well, I did, but it was like October. So I think somewhere in October, I reset that wheel. So I had all of November, all of December, all of January, and now I've pulled for all of February, even though I haven't started them all yet, or worked on them all. And I feel like 1 more month and I'll be able to reset it. So I'm going to start keeping track of that because I feel like that's kind of important to know, so that I don't waste as much time as I wasted saying to myself, no, I think the wheel's malfunctioning again. I've got like a phobia now about the wheel because someone messed my wheel up in 2024. Who could it be? Okay, so let's talk for a minute as I'm shedding all over my black sweater, which you can't see. I had a sales meeting today, which is, you also can't see that. I'm actually still in a skirt and a nice sweater, and this is not what my hair looked like. It was done, but I'm tired of pushing it out of my face for you guys. So let's go to who I'm watching. Some of them are new. A few, there aren't that many that I'm going to mention. I watch a lot, but they need to stand out to me for me to really mention them. They need to resonate with me. So Brenda, the handwork maniac, I watched her whip parade. I've been watching her for years. I watched her all through COVID. I love the way she does her Stitch Mania, like with the big month of May board, and as she finishes something, then she can start something new in Stitch Mania because she might have like an open spot on May 8th or whatever. Love that. Love that idea. That appeals to the list-oriented, detail-oriented Virgo that I am. So I love that. She is working on a Marty Bell, Miss Hathaway's Garden. I do not have that one, but I can see it in my sleep. There were so many that I wanted to stitch, and I am stitching a few. And as you can see, I did stitch a few. But I love her projects. They're very varied. They tend to be bigger, which I tend to like. She's not a huge prim stitcher, which I also tend to like. I don't mind dabbling, but I don't want it to all be that. She really does have a nice variety. So go check her out. Brenda, the Handwork Maniac. She's been at it for years. She's a pro. Happy retirement. She just retired, so she should have more time to stitch. And her whip parade was really good, but I have been watching her for years. So I have Brenda, been watching forever. The next one, Lala D Stitches. I think her name is Laura. I think I've been watching her for about a year. I seem to remember her last year whip parade. She did 2 long whip parades just this month or last month. She too works on a lot. She works on a lot of stuff, a lot of different stuff. She doesn't seem to really stick to just one style. What I like about her, other than that, is that she makes some really cool fabric choices. She very often goes off and does her own thing. I believe she has a sister that stitches and her mom stitches. I know the sister does because I remember seeing a Flosstube episode where the sister was in it. But she's not afraid to make a bold choice, and I like that. I like that she's young and she can still like step out of, okay, this is what it's called for. So go check her out. That's Lala D Stitches. And if you really just want to settle in and stitch for 3 hours, she's your girl, because she broke it up into 2, but I think they're about 3 hours total. Then there's a newbie. Her name is Jennifer Spence. She started with a whip parade. She's young. Love the young stitchers. I love the young stitchers. And she just seems like a natural in front of the camera at Flosstube. She's just hanging out, talking to her friends, and I like her projects. I like the variety. See, you're kind of sensing a pattern here, no pun intended. That I like to watch Flosstubers who do a lot of different things. So those 3, one a veteran, one to me relatively new, and one who actually is really new because she said it. So go check those out. Brenda, Handwork Maniac, Laura, Lala D Stitches, and Jennifer Spence. So now plans. Let's just talk about this for a minute. So I don't know about anybody else. I swear I'm going to try and wrap this up in 3 minutes. This Christmas season, this holiday season was very short. And I don't mean just like, oh my God, we're so rushed. And I mean, it actually was. Thanksgiving to Christmas, 27 days. That is not a lot, especially if you wait all year for Christmas, or like we all do, a lot of Christmas stitching or whatever. I waited too long to start anything. I told you the whole story about my daughter's Christmas ornament, and then it was beautiful, and I made it into an ornament, and I got it done in time. But I wanted it to be a snow globe, but I didn't have enough time. It just became a lot. So what I've decided is I am not going to wait anymore to start something with an eye towards Christmas or towards whatever the holiday, or towards a gift, because why do that? Because then it's no fun. Like looking back at the things that I've gifted people, especially my daughter, you know, I rushed. So I didn't rush doing them. I mentally rushed and didn't enjoy them when I should have, because they were really fun and they came out really nice, and I should have enjoyed them more, and I did not. Maybe next time I'll show you when my grandbaby was born. He will be 3 tomorrow. I made him sort of like my cottage of the month on the board. You know, I just showed you February. Well, I made him a birth announcement that you could magnet to a board, and then I think I did like Easter and summer and Halloween and Christmas, and I didn't do every holiday because it just was taking up so much of my time. But I could fill in those gaps for him and just take my time and do them. And that's how I feel. I feel like rush, 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 and I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to do that. So I think I'm going to try to, you know how I felt about the snow globes ornaments with Vanna Pfeiffer's finishing tutorial, but then I started the ornament for my daughter and it was too big for the globe and I didn't have time to start something else. I'm going to work on something like that all year. Like there's no reason to, you know, driving in the car, sitting, I don't pick kids up from school anymore, so I don't have time to like sit in the pickup line or whatever. There is none of that. So I just need to figure out a way to fit it in and not feel like it's taking away from the stitching, the other stitching. I don't like the rushed feeling. And here's a classic example. I'm going to show you this. It is in 101 Best Loved Designs from Cross Stitch and Country Crafts. As you can see, there's a lot. This is an amazing book. I got it on Amazon. I saw it. It is still there, but it is not available through Amazon. You have to buy it from a third-party seller. But if you decide you'd like to see the 101 designs, because there are some beauties in here, and there are several floss tubers who are working on one in particular, and the next time I see them come up, I was like, I know I've seen that design before. Now I know where, so I'm going to write it down and I will report back to you. But anyway, I decided that I wanted to do something for Valentine's Day, but in classic Debbie fashion, I didn't decide that I wanted to do it until 3 weeks ago. There's no reason that I can't start this and finish it and have it ready for Valentine's Day. Now, this book is very old. I believe you can buy this leaflet in an updated version. I don't need that. I just want something cute for Valentine's Day. This has a bunch of specialty stitches in it, but more to my point, I had this great idea and I had it 4 weeks before the actual holiday, which made me paralyzed with indecision on whether to start it or not, and I opted not to start it. But I could start it now and just say, okay, well, next February it'll be done. I don't like to make plans like, okay, I'm going to stitch on this 30 minutes every Saturday. I will be a plan fail. As detail-oriented as I am, and I am the list queen, I am not good at being forced to do something like that. Takes the fun out of it. You know, I want to be able to stop, start. So next time you may see that Valentine's box as a start. There's so many things I want to start. I guess my point of this 3 minutes too long monologue is that I'm not going to wait to start really cute Christmas ornaments or whatever, even though, you know, come January, the last thing any of us want to think about are ornaments. But I've seen floss tubers, and I've seen it on Instagram. People work on their Christmas gifts, their Christmas designs. So I work on the Christmas designs, but like anything I'm giving away, like an ornament or whatever, why start it with 11 months to go when you can start it with 11 days to go? That's my problem. So that's it. So let me know if you are interested in a flip through. If you have any questions about anything I showed, feel free to ask and I will get you an answer if I did not already say. I will be back in March. Can't even believe it's February. And I hope you enjoyed this and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.